Matthew Merle is almost an enigma. He is he is a person. I mean, I learned so much by spending a few minutes with him every time I'm with him. The direction, the mentorship, the advice, and the strategy he provides is pretty amazing. He's the co-founder and managing director of Fifth Era, which manages the blockchain co-investors, which is on our platform. So if you want to do anything in that space of blockchain and being able to understand how to invest in blockchain, he's the man. I mean, he also has been involved with Keiretsu Forum for, I don't know, 15 years now, maybe a little bit longer, and has driven that organization and raised a capital fund for them that invests alongside individual investors in that space. He's a best-selling author, has written several books now. The most recent one being The Intelligent Investor. I mean, I could go on for half an hour, but then that'd be taking away. He's a star. But what we'd like to be able to do for all of our attendees today is offer up to you a copy of that book that he authored with his wife, Alison Davis, The Intelligent Investor. So if you're interested in that, just email Mike, M-I-K-E, at link2.com. He'll give you his email. Email him. We'll give you a free copy of that book. You learn a lot, and hopefully we'll engage you more. It's just an amazing book. Matthew, I haven't said enough about you, but thank you for being here, and it's your show.
Well, thanks a lot, Corinne. I'm going to share my screen. I can see someone else is sharing right now. So thank you for putting that up. Let me just share my screen, and I'm going to just very briefly, I've got a couple of pages to share. I hope that you can all see that logo, Blockchain Co-Investors. And if you can, then we're ready to go. Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Yes, I can.
So, yeah, thank you very much. So today I'm going to talk about our predictions for next year and why we think, as Randy just mentioned, next year is going to be a phenomenal one for blockchain and distributed ledger technology. But before I get started, let me just re-emphasize something that both Bill and Kareem said. We are a fund manager, and we provide access for all of you to the world's leading and emerging blockchain companies. And so over the course of this amazing event over the last couple of days, you've seen a lot of presenters, and we're actually investors in most of those presenters. So in terms of the funds, you've heard from Blockchain Capital, where we chair the advisory board, Draper Goren Home, Pantera, Vault. We're investors in all of those funds. And then you've heard some great companies present, Ripple, Uphold, Link2, Amber later tonight. We're an investor in all of those companies. And in addition, we're an investor in all of these. These are 20+ unicorns here in the blockchain space. And we are investors in all of these, and you can be too. All you need to do is go to the Link2 platform, click on Blockchain Co-Investors, which is our fund of funds. And if you commit to that fund, you will be investing in 15 or so blockchain venture firms in Europe, Asia, and North America. You will have a portfolio of 200 or more blockchain companies, and you will be at the very leading edge of investing in this space. It's as easy as that, and that's part of the reason why I love Link2. Link2 just makes it very, very easy. Here are the predictions. We create 10 predictions every year for the year ahead. Last year, 9 out of 10 of our predictions turned out to be bang on. And in fact, the world in 2020 has moved further and faster than we thought it would. I'm going to very quickly go through these predictions for 2021. There's a full webinar on the topic, and I'll show you how to listen to the webinar if you want to hear more of the content. But the first prediction is that China is going to go from pilot to national rollout of the digital yuan. The digital yuan is already live in many platforms in China, and millions of transactions and billions of yuan have changed hands, and they're going to go into national rollout. And that is going to be a cry that will be heard around the world, because it's not possible for America, for the UK, for the EU, for Japan, or any other nation not to embrace digital monies when China is making it happen right now. And we could go talk a lot about this topic, but the most important thing for you to know is that you can't have sovereign central bank digital monies unless you have the infrastructure to support them. And the infrastructure means digital wallets and digital exchanges and digital trading systems, and those are what we invest in. And whether they're doing it as Coinbase or Kraken or Ripple or SFOX, they are the infrastructure that China and others are riding on top of. The second prediction, therefore, is that we're going to hear about pilots from the US, EU, and UK. And even though they're 2 or 3 years behind China, they're going to get in the game. They're going to eliminate any issues around their commitment to digital monies. And they're going to say before the end of the year that they're on board too. And that's also important for all the same reasons. The third is the banks are going to start scrambling after PayPal and Square. 2 years ago, the banks hated this space and they tried to close it down. Last year, they began to say, okay, maybe this isn't a fraud after all. And then PayPal turned on Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. And the take-up amongst their clientele has been remarkable. But our companies, BitGo and Paxos and SFOX, are the enablers of people like PayPal. And PayPal can't believe the interest that they're getting from their 300 million customers. They're backlogged. Well, PayPal's turning a lot more functionality on in the first quarter of next year. They've already announced that. They're going to provide the same type of access to their merchants, and they're going to broaden the offering, just like Coinbase is broadening its offering. Square turned on the Cash App. They can't believe the reaction they're getting. And the point of that is that banks are bleeding customers, and banks can't afford that to happen. They can't afford all of us to open digital wallets with digital first players and close our bank accounts. And that's what's beginning to happen. So banks will come on board too. The fourth is that hybrid wallets will accelerate. That trend will accelerate. If you go to China, and many of you are in China or in Asia, you can use WePay, and it offers the ability to have any fiat currency, any cryptocurrency, but it also offers you the ability to lend and borrow, the ability to make investments, and the ability to take out insurance, of all things. That is all within a single offering. And here in America and in Europe, we have single purpose apps. You have to have one for insurance, one for crypto, one for payments like PayPal or Venmo, one for your investments like TD Ameritrade, and that makes no sense. So as these things converge, we're going to see acquisitions, and we're going to see people like Uphold pull ahead because their platforms already integrate all of those things. The fifth is that the asset players will digitize private assets. And here, when I say asset players, I'm talking about the world's largest asset managers. Alison, my partner and wife, was the CFO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, $7 trillion under management. Well, BlackRock and Fidelity and Invesco and Franklin Templeton and Vanguard are going to start digitalizing private assets, beginning with their funds and real estate. And that will be very, very important. And the exchanges will have no choice to play. And this is why you're hearing announcements for the London Stock Exchange, from the Swiss SIX and SDX Exchange, from the Tokyo Exchange, from the Australian Exchange. It's coming fast now. Now, point 6 is that for most of us, we get our Bitcoin access through custodians, through brokerage accounts and the like. And to date, that's been hard. We're not sure that we'll have ETFs, but what we know for sure is that those products that do offer access to cryptocurrencies will accumulate assets enormously quickly. Grayscale has been doing that. It's blown through $10 billion. Bitwise isn't far behind. And today you heard the announcement that Bitwise is approved to offer its crypto index fund in brokerage accounts. And that's really important because it means every private bank and every fund manager can give all of their clients access to these things. The seventh is that pro traders will embrace the sophisticated exchanges. There's a lot of nuance to this point. I won't go into it today in the interest of time, but if you are a sophisticated professional trader and you're still using a retail platform like a Coinbase or a Kraken, much as we love those for the retail customer, a pro trader shouldn't be on those platforms. Pro traders have to be on crypto prime dealer platforms like Amber, who will be here later, SFOX in the US, and a handful of others. Crypto commodities, again, are going to gather momentum. In Australia, the Perth Mint has launched, along with Infinigold, UPXAU, which is tokenized gold. And tokenized gold is available in digital wallets and exchanges. It's a very efficient way to get crypto commodity coverage. We launched UPCO2, the world's first digital and tokenized rainforest carbon credit product. It's available through Uphold. Anyone in the world can buy fractional carbon credits. And to date, that's been almost impossible. If you wanted to buy and support the rainforest, you can today, you couldn't last week. And then the last two predictions. Last year, we said there were going to be 5 new blockchain unicorns added to the list. There are a lot more than 5. We have a webinar on that topic as well. And this year, we think there'll be at least 10. I think there'll be a lot more. And some of them may well be the companies that are available on Link2. And then the last, this is a non-prediction. It's true every year. It's been true every year for 20 years. The highest performing asset category in the world is early stage technology. And yet, unfortunately, most of us have most of our assets in very low performing asset categories. Fixed income, where our advisors tell us we should have 40% of our assets, it actually destroys value. Cash, which is a negative real return, and public equities, which actually have had a pretty good year this year, but probably a third of the return of early stage technology at best. So those are the predictions for 2021. This is the blockchain unicorn list. The ones in blue are the ones where we have investments in. It's got to be a much longer list, including the projects on the right-hand side, which are tokenized projects. If you want to learn more, please go to blockchaincoinvestors.com, and then we can talk to you and share the specifics. But the great thing about being on this Link2 conversation today is you actually don't even need to do that. All you need to do is pick up your mobile device, go to the Link2 app, click on the Blockchain Co-Investors button, and you can buy a very small fractional ownership of the world's leading blockchain companies and blockchain venture capital firms, and have your money fully diversified across at least 200 blockchain companies over the next few years. And I know a number of you have already done that, and thank you all of you. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm handing it back to Karim. Karim, I tried to, in fact, look at that. I'm exactly on time. I don't know if you want to do any Q&A. I actually started a little late, so I feel like I kept to the bargain and I finished it all on time. Over to you, Karim.
Matthew, thank you so much. It was amazing. So as you were speaking, the first thing I did was I went to my stock market app and checked out PayPal and Square, and the price earnings ratio, and those are like in the hundreds. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't I just invest with Blockchain Co-Investors? You've got it all there. It's an amazing product, great stuff that you're doing. All of the companies that you have on there are pretty amazing, and I appreciate the fact that you have some of your product on LinkedIn, appreciative of that. We have time. Obviously, you started a little bit late, but we'll give you an opportunity for a Q&A here. Let me just check if we've got someone. That needs
question in the chat about accredited investors.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's really a question for Link to. What happens if you're not an accredited investor? And you know, Kareem, I don't know if you can answer that question. There are some categories of investment that require accredited investors. Fortunately, cryptocurrencies and crypto commodities are available on retail platforms like Uphold. But I believe at Link2, you have to be an accredited investor to participate. Is that right, Kareem?
Yes, that's correct, Matthew. We only work with private companies. We do work over the spectrum. So, you know, we concentrate on unicorns. We also have some acorns. You know, we have companies across the spectrum, but they all require, according to the regs, that somebody be an accredited investor. But there's good news. You know, there's the bad news and the good news. The good news is the SEC in August expanded the requirements that enable you to be an accredited investor. And even though they didn't expand them as broadly as we would have liked them to, you can see the trend, because the basics of the trend is going away from an oligarchy to something that's based on knowledge rather than money. The only ways you could be accredited before were either based on your income or your net worth. Now, you can, if you've got a Series 7 or Series 82 or Series 65 license, you're considered to be accredited. So they're starting to go into that knowledge base, that if you're knowledgeable, that's why you should be able to invest. I think that's a great move forward.
Yeah. The other thing is there's a jurisdictional answer to that, which means there's a geographical answer, Jared.
Yes.
Depending upon where you're located, you may actually have a different answer. So if you went to Uphold, as an example, Uphold presented yesterday here at Link2's Global Investor Conference. Uphold will actually show you a different set of products depending upon whether you're in the US or offshore. Because offshore individuals are allowed to do things that unfortunately in America we're only allowed to do if we're accredited investors. So there is a little nuance here, and I know a lot of the audience are actually in Asia and in Australasia, and over there are also different rules and regulations about what is a sophisticated investor, an accredited investor, a retail customer. So we're probably speaking a bit too much on this one topic. But thank you, Jared, for the question. Kareem and Bill, did you have anything else for me, or should I drop off now?
Yeah,
no, we have a whole bunch of stuff for you. Can you stay and then after the event at 11:30 come back and answer field questions?
I am going to stay for a lot of this event because I learned so much, and because you've created an unbelievable agenda, and I want to hear a lot of the people that are coming next. And there are some really tremendous people. I was looking through, you know, the paradigm shift. You've got Annabelle, Rachel, and Mia, who are all amazing. Dragonfly Capital is one of the funds we're looking to invest in. Amber is one of the companies we are invested in. The Falcon X and Rally event, I'm looking forward to. I will probably be getting tired, but Miguel blasts it out of the park always. Kinjal Shah, Blockchain Capital, we chair the advisory board there. She's fantastic. And Cointelegraph, we love Cointelegraph. And then it just goes on and on. So I want to be honest about this. I may be here at midnight. I'll probably be a bit wasted, but you've got the most amazing agenda I've seen in a long, long time. And thank you so much for putting it together.